All right. Welcome everybody to our next Thursday programming of Girls in the Game. I'm happy everyone could join me today. So we are going to be going for the next half hour until 3:30. I'm Coach Callie, and today we're going to be doing some tennis skills, and then we're going to talk about goal setting. If you were able to join us earlier in the week, we had Coach Matthew talking about kickboxing, Coach Tierney talking about body image, and then yesterday, Coach Desiree talking about teamwork. So first, before we get started, if you are participating today, if you could please text your name and your school to this phone number. It's going to be 312-869-2729. So I'll say that again. Text to 312-869-2729. You're going to text your name and your school. And we're going to use that information for attendance so that we know who's here. And you don't need to post that information in the comments or anything. Just to be as safe as possible, you can just text it to that number, and it's also listed in the description for this video. All right, so we can get started. So before we go, we're going to go over the 5-finger contract. So if you come to our after-school program or any of our sessions, you should be familiar with that. So we'll just go over it real quick. So the first finger is the pinky, which stands for safety. So when we're doing online programming with Girls in the Game, we're going to remember to not share any of our personal information with anyone else. We're not going to share our location, and that's all just to keep us as safe as possible while we're online. The next finger is the ring finger, so that stands for commitment. So we're going to try to be committed to every activity that's presented. We are going to do everything to the best of our ability, and if you want, you can chat in the comments to participate, and that way I can know people are listening. We had a question, the number to text to. So you can find it in the description of the video, but I'll say it again. It is 312-869-2729. All right. The next finger in the 5-finger contract is the middle finger, which stands for respect. So we are going to promise to not put down each other in the comments, keep the comments positive. We are going to, the next is the pointer finger, which stands for teamwork. So we're going to work together by writing comments. Maybe if I ask for some input, people can participate that way. And we're also going to make the best of this session by working together. We may have technical difficulties. If that happens, I will re-upload the link, and you can just wait a few minutes and click on that link again, and it should work. But hopefully we won't have any problems. And you can also invite other family members to join, or other people in their house if you might be interested. And the last finger in the 5-finger contract is the thumb, which stands for fun. So even though we're all trying new things, we are just getting the hang of this online programming. We're going to try to have fun. We're going to learn together, have a safe space together, and before we begin our activities, we're just going to do some stretching. So we're going to stand up, over here. All right. So we're just going to stretch out a little bit to warm up our muscles. Let's start with some arm circles. Nice and big. All right, now let's stretch our arms. Hold it across your body. hold that for a few seconds. And we're going to switch. All right, now let's stretch our legs. Hold your leg behind you. Try to balance. All right, good job. So now, before we start getting active, we're going to do some dynamic stretching, which Coach Tierney talked about on Tuesday. So it's stretches that are a little more active. So we're going to practice some. So first, let's run in place. So you can do this really fast if you want to, or just go at your own pace. Do it for a few seconds. All right. Next, let's do some high knees. So bring your knees up in front of you. Good job. And how about some butt kicks? So lift your legs up behind you. Okay. So you're gonna step forward and with your other knee, touch the ground really lightly. So you can go across the room and back. Okay. And if you need to get water during it, you can. Okay, so another thing we can do that is important when you're playing tennis, we can practice shuffling. So we're going to go from side to side across the room. So you're just going to shuffle across. Even if you don't have a big space, you can just do it. Okay. And one more thing we can practice is jumping from side to side. So if you want, you could do it over maybe a line or an object on the ground, but you're just going to jump with your feet together from side to side. All right, awesome. Some water if they want. Ooh. Oh, that was tiring. Okay, so what we're going to practice today is some basic tennis skills. So if you have them, you can use a tennis ball and a racket, but if not, you can use any kind of small ball that you have or any round object. If you don't have a racket, you can use breakable because we don't want to break anything, okay? And before we start, we just want to note that we are not going to be swinging rackets around. We're not doing that. We're going to be holding it nice and steady. We're not going to be hitting the ball against any objects other than the racket. And we're not going to be hitting the ball too hard. We're going to be hitting it very, very lightly. So we want to remember to be safe in our space, not hit anything or hit anyone and maybe hurt someone. All right, so let's get our material. So I have a tennis racket and a ball, but you could also use something like a book that's a flat surface to do the activities. So first we're going to go over how to hold the tennis racket. So when you hold it, you basically just want to be holding it like you're shaking hands. So you would reach out, grab it, and shake someone's hands, okay? So that's all you need to do. And so when we're holding it for this activity, you're going to hold it with your palm up, with your hand up, and make it a flat surface. So what we're going to do first is practice balancing the ball. So anyone who's playing tennis at any level, the first thing you have to learn is how to balance and control the ball, so that you can be able to eventually hit it as good as possible. So if you don't have any flat surface, you can definitely use your hand. That's a great way to learn balance too. If you don't, so if you want to use your hand, really any flat surface will work. Okay, so first I'm going to practice on the book. So you're going to take the ball or whatever object you have and put it on the surface and try to balance it. Alright, so it can be kind of hard. If you need two hands, you can, or you can just use one. Ooh. You can also practice it on the tennis racket. Okay, so let's practice 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Awesome. Okay. If you got that, you can try maybe moving the racket forward while you're holding it and backward. Ooh, that's a little harder. Forward and backward. We can try it on the book. Let's see. Forward, ooh, backward. Ooh. If it drops, that's okay. Forward and backwards. All right, let's try maybe taking a few steps while we do it. So we're gonna go forward and backwards, forwards and backwards. Okay, maybe another thing you can try, if you've mastered all of those, you can practice standing on one foot while you're balancing it. Ooh, that's a little harder. So practice with your left foot in the air. Maybe switch, put your foot in the air and close your eyes. Ooh. All right. Awesome. So let's just see how long you can hold it on the surface before it falls off. Okay, ready, go. All right, I'm gonna walk around. Ooh. Ooh. I'm gonna put my leg up. Oh, okay. All right. Did anyone beat me? Get longer than me? All right. That was really hard. Okay, so once you practice balancing, then you can move on to trying to hit the ball on your racket. All right, I see one person beat me. Good job. So once again, we're not going to be swinging whatever we have. We're going to just hold it in front of us, and we're going to be lightly bouncing the ball. So this is called popcorn. And we want to move our arm a little bit, like maybe 1 inch. You don't want to be swinging it up and down because then you won't have control over it. So you can use the racket or whatever you have in front of you. You can use a book, and we're just going to hit it really lightly. All right. So try getting maybe 3 in a row. Let's see. 1, 2, 3. All right. And 5 in a row. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And once you've mastered that, you can just keep going, see maybe how many you can get in a row without stopping. So let's see. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Woo! Alright, I'm going to try to get to 10. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Ooh. Alright. Good job, everybody. Let's turn back around. Okay, awesome job. So did anyone get more than 5 when they were bouncing it? It's pretty hard if that was your first time trying it. If you need, you can get some water. All right, that was awesome. So thank you for doing those activities. If you want, you can keep practicing those on your own at home. But for the remaining time, we're going to talk about for yourself to achieve, and it helps you learn your full potential. So when talking about a goal, there's a difference between a wishing for something, and a goal that you have. So a wish is something that is maybe a little unrealistic or something that you can't control. So that might be like, I wish it was warmer out today, and we can't control the weather. Or I wish that I could go see my friend, and right now we can't really do that, so it's out of our control. But it's a little bit of work. It's something that you can set steps for yourself to be able to accomplish, and you can track your progress to see how well you are able to complete a task. So a goal is something that you should be able to practice and hopefully get better at. So while we're all stuck at home, I think that it's really important for us to all set goals for ourselves so that we're not just doing the same thing every day, getting a little bored or maybe frustrated, stuck at home. And these can be really big goals in your life, or a couple of hours or a few days to get. So when goals, there are a few different steps. So the first step is to state the goal. So you're going to either say it out loud or tell someone about it, or you can actually write it down and then maybe put it up somewhere that you'll remember that that's what you're trying to do. The next step would be to make a list of small steps that you can take to achieve that goal. So these would be very easy things that you could do every day on your way to ultimately finishing what you want to do. The third step is to identify maybe different challenges that you could have on your way to achieve that goal and the ways that you think you could overcome those challenges. And then the fourth step is to set a time that you want to achieve the goal by. So you want to say a specific time or a specific day that you would finish that, so that you know how long you have and when you would want to be able to do it by. So let's go through an example. So a small goal, if anyone has any goals that they want to achieve, they can write that in the chat. But for example, let's just say it could be the activity that we just did. So bouncing a tennis ball on your racket, or balancing a tennis ball on a book. So first you would state what your goal is. So maybe you're down, or you could say it. So the next step would be the small steps you could take to achieve that goal. So maybe you would say you're going to practice for 10 minutes every day. Or maybe you say, today I'm going to bounce it 5 times, tomorrow 10, and then the next day 15. And then the third step would be maybe challenges that you have. So one of them could be you might not have the equipment you think you need. So you could solve that by, like we said earlier, your house, if they have any ideas of objects you could use. Another challenge might be if you say, oh, I don't have any time to practice. So maybe you could plan to, every night before bed, you're going to practice for 1 minute. And that's all you need. You don't have to be practicing something for an hour a day. If you don't have the time, you can just find little times throughout the day to do it. And then the fourth step would be to set a date to achieve that goal. So maybe you would say, maybe by the next 3 days, I'm going to get it. So however long you think it could take you, and if it takes shorter than that, then that's awesome. So that's with a small goal. We're also going to talk about big goals. So this would be something that maybe takes a few weeks or even a few months for you to achieve. So I'm going to write this down just so people can see what it would look like. So, for example, a big goal that I have for myself would be to run a 5K, which is 3.1 miles. So I started running pretty recently. So step one would be run a 5K. All right, so I wrote it down. So the next step would be writing down any small steps that I want to accomplish in order to meet this goal. So maybe I'm going to say I'm going to, in week 1, run 1 mile. In week 2, run 2 miles. And then in week 3, run 3 miles. And you could also say something like, I'm gonna run for maybe 10 minutes a day the first week, then 20 minutes, then 30 minutes, however you want to break it up, depending on whatever your goal might be. So the third step is to think of any challenges that you might have. So for running, a challenge might be if the weather's bad, I can't go outside and run. So I would have to plan around when there's going to be good weather. Another challenge might be if I feel like I don't have the time during the day. I could plan for that by maybe waking up a little earlier, or I could go practice during lunch in the middle of the day or right after work. Just find additional time in the day when I might be able to do it. So I'm going to say wake up early. Okay. So there's my plan. And then the final step is to have a deadline. So I'm going to say by the end of this month, I'm going to accomplish my goal. So end of April. Okay, so there's my plan. I think another good step for your deadline is to tell someone about it so that they can help you plan for your goal and achieve it. So you could tell a friend or an adult in your house, and they can maybe help remind you of when you want to accomplish it by, and they could maybe help you achieve your goal. All right, awesome. So these steps, and maybe get it done by the time we all get to go back outside to our normal lives. And hopefully this will help you have some control over what's happening in your life, instead of maybe wishing for something to happen or waiting for someone else to do it for us. You can figure out what your abilities are, what you believe you can realistically achieve, and maybe have some fun while we're all stuck inside. All right, so we just have a few minutes left. Again, if you weren't here at the beginning or you didn't see it in the chat, 869-2729. You can just text your name and your school so that we know you attended. And yeah, that'd be awesome. So thank you for joining our programming today. I hope you enjoyed it. If you want to join us tomorrow, Coach Stephanie will be leading programming at 2 o'clock, and you can just follow the same link at girlsinthegame.org/live, and it'll bring you right to that video. For those of you who received the email invite and will be joining our team time next, you can follow the link in your email that will be on Zoom, and me and a couple of other coaches will be there just to check in and have a conversation about how you're doing. And don't forget to check out Girls in the Game on Facebook and YouTube, Instagram. We have more videos posted there of different activities you can do. Yeah, thanks everybody for joining me today. It was a lot of fun.